All right. Assalamu alaikum and a good morning to everyone in this class and to everyone who's listening. Our group consists of 4 members, which is Fahmi, Muizuddin, Luqman, and me, Daniel. So today we will be presenting on our literature proficiency report, which is the analysis of Sonnet 17 and The Monkey's Paw, which is a poem and a short story. We're going to analyze the in-depths of what it is to the infrastructure of language and literacy. So first, literature plays an important role in helping us understand human emotions, thoughts, and experiences. Through literature, we are able to see different perspectives of life and relate them to our own reality. So the purpose of this assignment is to analyze, like I said earlier, both a poem and a short story in terms of their meaning, themes, and literary elements. On the other hand, this assignment helps us connect literature to real life, especially in understanding emotions, decisions, and their outcomes. So like I stated earlier, we picked the short story of The Monkey's Paw and the poem of Sonnet 11. Well, Sonnet 17 focuses on deep and natural love, and love is not about physical beauty. We're going to go in depth later by my friend's presentation. On the other hand, for the short story Monkey's Paw, it's about fate and human desire, and wishes come with consequences. It teaches us that nothing in life is really without granted. There are always consequences and rewards behind it. And it relates literature to real overall aim of what language is. For Sonnet is love is felt, not explained. That's at the very least the idea that we're going to explore. Like I said earlier, all right, we're covered. Moving on to the next point.
All right, good morning, everyone, and good morning to our dear listeners and viewers. So, as you can see in front, this is our beloved poster, proudly presented you by me, Muiz. We have created this poster based on the elements that we found in the Poet 17, which is I Do Not Love You by Pablo Neruda. So, one of the elements that can be seen in this poster is the roses and the topaz, which symbolizes the line in the poem, which is I do not love you as if you were a sort of rose or topaz. This line tells us that the poet's love is not based on outward beauty, preciousness, or obvious attractiveness, but a genuine love and much deeper, as we can see in the 3rd and 4th line of the poem, which says, I love you as certain dark things are to be loved, in secret between the shadow and the soul. The grass below them symbolizes the line number 5 until 8 of the poem, which is, I love you as the plant that never blooms, but carries in itself the light of hidden flowers. Thanks to your love, a certain solid fragrance, risen from the earth, lives darkly in my body. On line 5 and 6, the poet is saying that his love is not something loud or he openly shows to the people around him, but instead it is like a plant that does not bloom outwardly, yet still holds beauty and life hidden inside. This can be seen in the poster where on the grass there are small flowers that yet to bloom, which fits perfectly with the line in the poem. Like over here. More details will be given later. So, on lines 7 and 8, the poet compares love to a fragrance coming from the earth. Even though fragrance is something you can't see, but you can still feel its presence, suggesting that the beloved's love has become something deeply rooted, natural, and lasting inside of him. This is further supported by the phrase, lives darkly in my body, where in poetry, the word darkly can often mean deep, mysterious, and hidden within the soul. All this description can be seen in the poster, where the man has a shadow behind him and the silhouette of his beloved has the fragrance surrounding it. As you can see here, the shadow, the fragrance. We also included one of the lines from the poet in the poster, which is line 11, where it says, "So I love you because I know no other way." The line shows how deep the love the poet has for his beloved and how confused he is to show it, as he does not know what else he could do for his beloved, which fits perfectly with the gray background of the poster, symbolizing the confusion of the poet. Now we will go to the next part of our presentation, which is the like I explained earlier, so we can skip this part. Now we go to the poetry analysis.
So for my part, my name is Fahmi. I will present about the poetry analysis. The poem that we choose is Sonnet 17. Sonnet 17. As you can see, this is the poem. In standard 1, line 1 to 4, the poet says, "I do not love you as if you were salt rose or topaz." Here the poet used contrast. He rejects love based on beauty or valuable objects. Then in line 2 to 4, "I love you as a certain dark things are to be believed, love in secret." They show symbolism where dark things represent hidden and private love. In the next stanza 2, line 5 to 8, in stanza 2, line 5 to 8, the poet says, "I love you as the plant that never blooms." This is a metaphor, meaning love does not need to visible but still exists deeply. Also, words like light, hidden flowers, and earth create imagery, helping us to imagine the feeling of love. And for the stanza 3, line 9 to 11. In stanza 3, line 9 to 11, the poet says, "I love you without knowing how, or when, or from, or where." This is short repetitions of "I love you," emphasizing a strong emotion. There is also alliteration in when and where, and assonance in the repeated vowel sounds, making the poem sound smooth. In the last stanza, in stanza 4, line 12 to 14, the poet says, "So close that your hands on my chest is my hands." This shows that deep connection and unity. The lovers are so close that they feel like one person. In conclusion, this poem shows that true love is pure, deep, not based on physical things, but on emotional connection and sincerity. That's all from me. I'm going to pass to the next presenter.
Okay, let's move on to the short story analysis, The Monkey Paws. The plot of the story is family gets magical paw and grand wishes with consequences. The story tells us that the human desire can be a dangerous thing if we doesn't control it, and every wish has a consequences. Every desire, everything you need to pay a price for it. So the main event is Mr. White wish for money, and the price is his son die, and the compensation equal wish. So the starting and point of view of the novel short story is isolated, dark, stormy house. So the story goes, in the story, Mr. White, Mrs. White, and the son Herbert live in the stormy house. It's isolated and dark. It shows the darkness of the story, and it's being told in third person and focus on Mr. White. The style and tone of the story is simple language. They're using simple language, dark and suspenseful mood. The symbol and irony. The paw represent the danger of desire of human, and wishes lead to tragedy. That means if you wish for something, you need to pay a price for it. The moral and real life: be careful what you wish for. Greed and impatience bring consequences. We as a human being always want to wish for something. We want desire something. We always say, I want this, I want that. And sometimes we cannot pay a price that we desire. Let's take example as get now, pay later, or people in Malaysia use pay later trend, where you can get something and pay it later, but it's the trend become out of control that the youngster just started to get in debt, and they don't have the income, or some of them doesn't have income to pay for it, and that's the price of their desire. That's the price they need to pay for what they want, what the greed want. And yeah, there was 4 characters that being introduced in the story. First is Mr. White. He's the curious one. Mrs. White, she's a emotional kind of character. Herbert, the son, playful, and Morris, the someone who know the danger of the thing. Not know, he kind of know that no, if you ask for wishes, you need to pay a price for it. And that's all for me.
Moving on to the summary of this content that we're doing, a very interesting and yet unique peak of analysis. We're going to conclude it basically. So for Sonnet 17, the poem basically resembles and shows true and pure love, and it focuses on emotions, how we endure, how we suffer, and how we struggle, and how we enjoy, just for the sake, the deep sake, on the feeling of love. And it's for the monkey's paw, the short story, it's interesting as well. It sounds as a child-friendly story, but when you read it, it gives off a very dark and twistful plot, which has a lot of moral values that can teach a lot of people, especially the future youth. So basically it shows the danger of greed, how greed can ruin you, and how actions have consequences. So in everything that you do might not seem for what it is. What looks to be great is not always what it looks. So the main message is what we're trying to imply, and what we found on our analysis research is that based off these poems and stories, is that you should think, everyone should think before making decisions, and they should appreciate real feelings, to embrace what your emotion says, because what is life without emotion? What is life without love or even hate? And the final insight is that, based off the main message, is that life is shaped by choices and emotions. So basically, even though the themes are different, both texts are connected because they teach us important lessons about life. And in the end, we learn that life is shaped and we respond to different situations. So in all technicality, our slide, our research has been sort of a unique experience. Even I have to admit, I've never researched something like this before. So language can be really interesting. Proficiency in literacy is quite an interesting subject. And I say that's the conclusion of our research. Thank you guys, and thank you to everyone and anyone who's listening to our presentation.
Thank you. Goodbye.